Hey guys, I'm here for, another video because I'm kind of tired of seeing these people get away with this, and it's just frustrating to see, that's all. The topic for today's video is plagiarism and why it's obviously bad. But for reals, this isn't really a video talking about plagiarism, just a warning for writers out there who don't want their work being taken. But in short, plagiarism is when you take someone else's words and just claim it for yourself. So in other words, basically stealing. I personally think it's very annoying and very lazy not to do your own work at all. And as a writer, kind of myself, like, a part of writing is just using your brain and creativity. So when I see people not doing that and just choosing to steal from others, obviously I'm gonna get mad. I think I'd be less agitated if I knew that these people were minors. Then I would let it pass. Kids do dumb stuff and they can, lie, steal, cheat, and all that. But these are literally adults. They're older than me, yet they think this is perfectly fine. And somehow they don't get bored of this. They just keep doing it and thinking they're like, they're good writers, or like, they just think they're doing a good story when they're just stealing. The first person I caught was in 2020 on Wattpad and YouTube, because they were pretty popular and a major asshole. I actually have a Google Doc all about her because me and my friends are kind of tired of seeing her get away with a bunch of very bad things. So was I. I was pretty much the only person that has ever called her out. So if you want to check that out, it's in the link down in the description. I don't know if I'll ever update it, but it's pretty much all there. Everything that she's done that we've basically recorded for the past years, because we knew that she wasn't gonna change. Her friend group was like always beside her during that time, and it was very annoying to deal with. So like as the years went by, I guess they started to slowly, plagiarize and think it's fine. So like in this year, they're doing it so much that it's just very lazy and very infuriating. So the first person I want to call out is this one, Jacob. And I also have some stuff on him. But like, we're only talking about the plagiarism here. Also, side rant. In my other video, I mentioned how these people would take other characters from shows and then other characters from like anime and then mash them together in order to make like a story. I'm actually okay with this because it's, fan fiction. It's supposed to be fun and not really taken seriously at all. I do think it's fun to have two different characters from another world and just have their universes collide and see them interact, because that'd be very interesting. But these people kind of don't do that. They just replace main characters with different characters. Like, it's just very weird, and when you think about it logically, it doesn't make sense, especially with the characters that they choose or are their favorites. Basically, their universes are so different that it generally doesn't make sense why they would behave or act this way, including their time periods. It's just a mess in my opinion, and it doesn't make sense, even if it's fictional. Okay, side tangent's over, but finally we're getting into the plagiarism. I'm sorry. So like I said before, they replace characters with either their OCs or just other characters from different shows. And sometimes they make stories from popular anime, and of course I'm gonna get upset because I like those animes too. But instead of, making their own story, they just choose to plagiarize and kind of disrespect the creator's work. So when I saw this, I was very iffy. And as soon as I read it, I was like, yep, that's the first episode of Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, when I read that, I was literally just thinking about the episode because it was the first episode. The whole script is literally plagiarized, and the characters, his characters were basically just placeholders. Like, nothing really changed, just the characters. And this upsets me because they could have literally done anything, but they chose to take the script of the characters speaking and replace them with their OCs, which I think is very disingenuous and very disrespectful to the creators' work and their characters. And by the time I posted this, there's already a bunch of chapters out, and they're all it's literally the episodes, one by one. Script and everything, the characters being replaced by OCs and other characters. It's just the show. Like, just watch the show instead of reading this. There are other instances of him plagiarizing, but I want to move on to the next person. In my other video, I talked about Michaela, who are also friends with these people. And recently, she's been doing the same thing, taking writing and pretending that she based it off a series or character when she literally just took it. Like, one of her characters, for example, says this. And as you see, the comments kind of tell you already. Like, this specific dialogue she chose is from Jax's Crash Out from The Amazing Digital Circus, a show I also really like. And when I saw that, I kind of just got the ick. Like, why would you take a really good scene and use it for yourself? It makes sense for Jax because we are beginning to understand his character, but not her. Like, it feels just very cheap to take that specific dialogue, which was a really good scene actually, and to just kind of use it for yourself like that, for your own character instead of writing it yourself. Since I already have a full video on that situation, I know this is just a minor nitpick, but it still matters to me as someone who does love to write. And that scene was just crazy, and I just don't like how she took that scene, was like, well, it's for my character. One character nobody even knows about except for her friends. And it adds on to another point that I have. Like, characters are created and they are written with dialogue specifically for them. So if you just place in your OC or another character and make them say that, it kind of takes away the originality of that character's importance in the series. Like, Jax's Crash Out was something that was supposed to happen in the show, but her random OC that she chose to steal this dialogue from, nobody even knows about them, so we have no connection and we don't understand why they would say all this other than drama and, further stories. Next up is Raven, but I already have a bunch of written stuff about her in my Google Doc, but I'll just mention it anyways because she's still plagiarizing to this day. Sometimes when I read her stories, it's hard to really pinpoint if she has plagiarized, but I always get suspicious because she tends to, mix stuff up a bit, and it's sometimes hard to tell. But just a quick Google search and I'm usually able to find the source. Like how I did with these two characters, she literally plagiarized off and made new characters out of. And she does this a lot in the Google Doc. So this wasn't really a surprise at all. In fact, just recently, I just seen her new chapter in another story she's making. And this whole dialogue literally reminds me of something. And I immediately knew which character spoke exactly this way. It was more of the whole scene than the dialogue, but it still matters. But if you don't know which this scene is talking about, it's the scene from Demon Slayer where Shinobu and Gyu go out to kill demons in the forest after some slayers never return from their missions. It's where Shinobu encounters the spider demon, more so the spider's sister, and it pretty much plays out exactly how you read it. And she even admits it in the comments where she says she got inspired by this scene, but it's literally a copy and paste of it. Like, I don't think that's inspiration. You don't just take a whole scene and replace the character with your own OC and say that you did something. Shinobu's creepiness is aligned with her character, so your OC replacing her is very disingenuous to her character. Like, Shinobu said this, not your OC. Didn't write this. This was from Demon Slayer. This story isn't really a copy of Demon Slayer, she just put it in there for some reason. Even if she gave credit, she still stole dialogue and didn't really input anything new into the script. You mentioned that Shinobu was an inspiration for her OC, but still, that doesn't mean you get to take their motives, their dialogue, their mannerisms, and quite literally part of their personality into them, because all you're doing is ripping off that character and just not even using any ounce of creativity. Speaking of character inspirations, she actually has a lot for her OCs, and as you can guess, she's pretty specific on what characters inspire her OCs. Instead of casually saying that, hey, these characters inspired my OC, she has to take parts of their personality and over-explain why these characters represent her OC. I know English isn't her native language, but you can pretty much tell when the plagiarism starts to show in her writing. It was pretty much how I found out she was plagiarizing in the first place in Wattpad. I would make some evidence of this, but it takes a lot of time and effort out of me, and you already seen how much she plagiarizes already, including the document, so I don't think you need to know unless you can read it for yourself and understand and see what I'm seeing. And also, speaking of which, she has uploaded this new story, which kind of also proves even more plagiarism from her. It's weird how they're so comfortable doing this, and they do understand that it's wrong. She quite literally threw a tantrum when she was called out for it, and has expressed that she does not care at all. I mean, her whole reaction was basically in the document that I made, so it's all there. But even with all this credit that she tries to give, it's still plagiarism. She's not adding in anything new or something else to make this story original, even a side story or just not even based from it. She quite literally takes the whole plot of Demon Slayer and replaces the characters with already existing main characters. My only problem is the plagiarizing itself, because like I said, they could have done anything else, but they chose to take the whole story. Another reason why I'm worried about them plagiarizing is that Raven has been doing this to other authors in the past and has never given credit, and she quite literally does not care at all. She does it to other fanfics on whatever stories she's trying to write, and I'm worried that she might steal once again from other writers and their stories. And the evidence is there. Literally, she's still taking writing to this day in 2025, soon to be 2026, so take that as you will. The final person is her best friend and sister that just would do anything for Raven, but she hasn't really plagiarized that much, only claims already existing characters for herself. Like, she flat out says that they belong to her in her stories. I kinda have a document on her, just like the others, because I was planning to call them all out, and I wanted to do just like Raven, like an in-depth research of if she was plagiarizing or not. And based from what I collected, it pretty much was plagiarism. She didn't plagiarize as much as they did. All she did was take characters and claim them as her own, but that still counts as plagiarism anyways, because these characters exist and she's just casually taking them for herself. If she flat out announced that she was borrowing or rewriting these characters for her series, I would let it slide. But all she does is take these characters that already exist and rearranges their lore and then claims them for herself. And like I said before, it adds nothing to the story. Another thing to mention is how she takes their names and puts them all over in her stories. Like, I feel like a fan would come across that story and be like, hey, you shouldn't be taking these characters, or these characters don't belong to you. I don't think you should take the credit. Otherwise, I don't know why she's so comfortable with claiming these characters. Like, she won't get in trouble for it. Thank you for watching to the end. I know I talked like so much, but there was a lot to get off from my mind. I will definitely be making another video about them and something in their stories that they keep putting in. And it is a very touchy subject, and I really don't like how they portray it. So I'll come back later with a video for that. In the meantime, this video took a lot out of me, but I actually really enjoyed making it as it's been bothering me a lot. So I decided to just flat out just talk about it. I apologize for repeating some things over and over. I generally do not mean to do that. It just kind of comes up over and over because I am annoyed. Also, this video isn't meant to attack or harass anyone. I generally do not want that to happen at all. I just came here to spread awareness and why I don't like how they plagiarize so casually. So that's the end so far. I don't know when I'll post, but obviously 2026, I don't know, somewhere maybe in January. I don't really know, but if you like these videos, then I don't know, like, subscribe, something, I don't know.